Hey, I'm Drew, and like many folks, I started playing golf during the 2020 pandemic. At home, with nothing to do, I went to my local driving range just to get some fresh air and some much needed exercise. I quickly fell in love with hitting golf balls and wanted to test my skills out on the course. Those first few rounds were really difficult, and I realized that my skills didn't necessarily translate. I also realized another thing. People don't normally tell you that golf is an extremely social sport. You're usually paired with 3 other strangers, and if you play poorly, you can hold them back. And while everyone was nice and swore I wasn't holding them back, I could tell I wasn't letting them play at their fullest potential. And this really bothered me. I scrounged YouTube and devised a strategy that would really work for me in order to keep the ball in play and allow for them to play their best game. My new goal is to play Bogey player, and the reason why this is so important to me is I feel like Bogey is the minimum threshold to where you could virtually play with anyone and not necessarily hold them back from playing their best game. So here we go. We're at Penmar Golf Course in Venice Beach, and I'm trying really hard to play Bogey player, and I'm keeping score for the first time. As you can see, I'm really surprised that landed on the putting green, but I'll take it. Putting is new to me, mainly because during the pandemic, the putting greens were closed, so the only way to practice was really to play on the course, but I didn't want to necessarily do that. Again, I was just holding people back. So I got a little putting mat and practiced in my house, but it doesn't always translate. I think I'm really good at distance management for not having, putted on a course, but my aim is just totally off. This par 3 shot does pretty well for me. It's a long par 3, about 170, 180, and I'm able to get it to just a small chip away, which is not bad for me. I don't have the longest carry distance, but not a bad shot. So I chip here. I landed on the putting green, which is new for me. Chipping is totally new for me as well. So that was a good shot for me. I think I'm happy with that one. This putt is something that I rushed. Just a reminder for myself. I need to stop rushing because that leads to more and more shots, which holds up people, right? So the whole reason why I rush is to not hold up people, but if I'm having to take another shot, that's also holding them back. So here we go, hole number 4. I chose the correct club there. I went with an iron instead of a driver for my first shot. Proved to be rewarded. Got a really good shot in the fairway for a second shot, and I'm able to hit the green from here, which is great. That's something I learned from YouTube is just not to necessarily use your longest club, even though it will give you more distance. Choose the club that will let you hit the fairway and give you a better shot of hitting the green. So course management, and that's something that took some time to learn, 4 or 5 rounds really, and I think it's really helped me not hold people back. Because when we're hitting into the fairway and getting that ball into play, we can continue playing with our group. But if we're risking things with our longest club and having a big chance that it's going to slice out and we got to hit a second ball or a third ball or a fourth ball, then that's when it becomes really tedious and annoying for everyone. So I've learned just to be safe. I mean, if there's a wide open field, I'll try driver. But if there's not, and there's even like a 50% chance that I'm not going to hit into the fairway, I just go with an iron. And that's really helped me be able to play with groups and not hold them back as much. So not a bad drive for me, but this is a good example of kind of what I'm talking about. I probably should have gone with like a fairway wood here or an easier to hit iron. I got lucky, and it didn't go so much into the woods where I'd have to hit a second shot. But, I probably could have hit an iron and gotten the same amount of distance. So this is another example of a bad hit shot, but I keep it in play. And I've had to practice this at the range quite a bit. Just trying to eliminate the bad shots that totally slice out and would have me had to drop. Instead, my bad shots are ones that kind of turn into the fairway. There's a great putt for me. I remember practicing that putt with an imaginary ball a couple times before actually hitting the ball. Maybe I need to start working that into my putting routine because I did sink that one. Here's a bad drive. It's a well-hit shot, but it hits a tree and bounces, so we'll lose a lot of distance. If I hit an iron, I could probably even go further than where the ball landed with that driver, but that's okay. I have a decent second shot. Still need to lay it up into the putting green. So this chip is short, and I realize that I'm not taking the lie or the length of the grass into effect with distance, and I need to start doing that. It's hard because I'm at the driving range with an artificial mat. So here is a bogey save putt. Let's see if I can sink it. Let's go. Bogey, baby. The putting really saved me there and saved my score. Here's hole number 8, shot 1. And that's a really well hit iron shot. Something that I probably practice more than any of the clubs that I use today. So it kind of shows that the more you practice, the better shot you'll get with that club, obviously. So here's a putt for par. And I sink it. Not bad. So that's my best hole of the day, at par. That saved a couple double bogeys. And here's the home stretch. And I remember feeling really kind of anxious about this one because I do know the score in my head. It's +9. And I know if I do not par this hole, it's all game over for my goal of hitting bogey player. And of course, with that anxiety and just stress, I kind of have a meltdown a little bit. I mean, there's a lot of shots in here I probably should have done better with, but I think the thing that I can walk away from this game knowing is I was in pace with my playing partners. I don't think there was a single time I really held them back. So that's a win. And we'll try again tomorrow. Thanks so much for watching.